This isn't
Yo.
hanging out.
Fucking bubbles!
No, I've waited all my life.
How y'all doing tonight?
And I know if it's the last thing I do.
Not one of the usual nouns most people would use, but woo is an acceptable answer. Wow, there's a lot of you. Look at all of you. Jeez. Good thing they gave us a bigger room. Jeez. All right, raise your hand if you are not from Los Angeles. Jesus! All right. Okay, let me rephrase that. See, I myself only moved here a couple of years ago, so when I say Los Angeles, I pretty much mean all of Southern California. Actually, the greater Los Angeles area. If you're around near Anaheim, you're not from Los Angeles. Okay, so let me put it down. Who's here from out of state? Okay, a fair bit of you. Very good. Tucson. Did you drive here, sir? You trained. Oh, I like trains. Who likes trains? Who likes turtles? See, this is what me and other panelists call the woo game. See, I say something, and then if you like it, you say woo. See, this is a game that all of us can win. Especially me, since we're still waiting for people to file in, and that means I don't actually have to start giving you guys real content until people are done. So I get to cheat a little bit, and you guys get to play a game. How awesome is that? Oh, this is great. Who's cosplaying as a pony tonight? Whoa, very nice. I see a lot of you. Let's see, Fluttershy right over there. Freaking awesome. Now, don't get me wrong, I like all the other ponies, and in fact, if the ponies were real, I think Twilight would probably be my best friend. But Fluttershy is just so damn adorable, isn't she? Oh, you got a little Twilight Sparkle plushie over there. That's really nice. Oh, man. So are you guys just stoked about Anime Expo this year? I mean, AX Idol or no AX Idol, Anime Expo is one of the best conventions I've been to. How about you? Now, I think you've all noticed that a lot of the questions I'm phrasing to get a woo response. This is an excellent tactic in gaining points in the woo game. Points, in fact, do not matter. It's just like whose line is it anyways? All right. So let me try. Let me see if I can make some of you guys woo. And woo, honestly, because then it doesn't count. That is an example of a dishonest woo. Do not do that. Twilight. What the hell was that? I heard the pinky okay, it's up there. I see that. Can you turn the volume up? Because hey guys, at the door, how many people are left to come in? Are we about ready to start? We're good to go? All right, then, Mr. Video Mixer, would you please switch it to this? Oh, you are too quick. All right. And could I get the wireless mic up here? Because, I mean, while I love the SM57, it is, in fact, my choice mic. I would like to be able to roam around a bit, and I don't want to, All right, let me put this guy back on its little boom here. Woo! The SM58 Beta. Fun fact, I actually have the exact identical mic of this mic in my bag right now. It is my favorite mic. But you're not here to find out about mics. You're here to find out about the sound design of My Little Pony. So, it is hot up here. So if you excuse me, I'm going to go a little less formal. I'm going to take off this white jacket of mine. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how you win the Woo game. So, good evening, everyone. All right, I'm reading off of a little script here. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so, welcome to Sound is Magic, a look into the sound design and sound history of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. Now, before I get into stuff like diegesis and fidelity, let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Victor Frost. I'm a radio production major at the Mike Curb College of Arts, Media, and Communications at California State University, Northridge. All right, Matadors represent. I'm going to switch hands. All right. On top of being a student, I'm also a professional audio engineer and podcaster. I've done work for organizations like MIT Langer Labs, Putnam Investments, Polycom Communications, but I also do a lot of stuff in the Brony community. Which it feels like a good half of it is here tonight, and that's scary. I'm the director of voice acting for Gentle Colt's collaborations for their game, My Little Pony: Love is Magic. I've also done a few covers, like the This Day aria. I've done a cover of that. I also run the Ask King Metamorphosis Tumblr blog, which the only reason I'm saying is that I have heard that a couple of people who read that blog are going to be here tonight, which frightens me. Because all they've ever heard is this voice, and I'm wondering what are they going to think when they see me? And it's not this voice. So, that's scary. So, and the button doesn't work. Of course, the button doesn't work. What is it? It's not Moore's Law. It's someone else's law. Murphy's Law, thank you. No, Moore's Law it says the number of transistors will increase exponentially. But we're not here to talk about transistors. Or are we? So, what is sound design? Well, because it is such a broad field, let me so I can see the slide better. Because it is such a broad field, let me start by telling you what we won't be talking about. We will not be talking about voice acting. I know, but sound design is so much more than voice acting. In fact, we won't be talking about recording at all. In fact, most cases, sound design happens before and after the recording process, while writing the script and in post-production. Strictly speaking, it's the process of specifying, acquiring, manipulating, or generating audio samples, and it's used in a variety of fields, including film, TV, video games, and theater. So how is this going to work? Well, first I'm going to talk a little history. Then we're going to go ahead and talk about sound effects. We're going to get into diegesis and fidelity, which is going to be fun. We'll cover music and its effect on narrative and vice versa. And finally, if there's time, I'll do a little Q&A, and I was hoping to have a little fancy internet-based system where you could submit questions throughout the show, but didn't pan out, so we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and yell. Yeah! All right. But you guys are already masters at the Woo game, so I mean... Woo! I have seen your qualifications, and let me say I am impressed. So, let me answer the question burning in the hearts and minds of all of you ultra-hardcore otakus and weeaboos out there. What the hell does this have to do with anime? Woo! You, sir, that is a fantastic answer. He says, it's ponies, who cares? I mean, well, but come on, let's be honest. We are at Anime Expo, right? This should have a little something to do with anime. No. Well, for the sake of moving along... Well, let's be honest with our little fanboy selves. Japan did not invent animation. The French did. In fact, the first Japanese animation with sound, Chikara to Onna no Yo no Naka, came out in try saying that 5 times fast. Came out in 1933, 5 years ahead of Paul Terry's Dinner Time and Disney's Steamboat Willie, which were both among the first cartoons with synchronized sound. And I bring up Disney for a reason. Modern anime traces its roots back to Toei Animation. This is the same company that brought you stuff like Dragon Ball. Now's the time to woo if you like. Sailor Moon. I love you guys. Thank you. Galaxy Express 999? More than I expected. That was nice. And tons of other mainstay anime classics, as well as, God, I hate long hair, as well as some stuff you might be more familiar with. Like bo 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 bo. I heard someone say there is 7 bows. Bo 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 bo. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Silence. All right. Their first film, Tale of the White... That is the wrong button. Isn't it always like this? Why, wireless mouse? Their first film, The Tale of the White Serpent... Their first film, The Tale of the White Serpent, was released in 1958 and strongly echoed the animation and sound style of Disney productions at that time. This is no coincidence. When they started up, they straight up said, "We want to be the Disney of the East." I gotta tell you, I would watch the crap out of that. I know how it's gonna end, but I would still watch that. So there's my requisite bit to make this relevant to this convention. Now, let's come back over the Pacific, back home to California. Most of you know that My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic was spearheaded by Lauren Faust, and that she worked on the Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Okay. Who she brought with her was a slew of animators and writers who have worked on shows with names recognizable to all but perhaps the youngest of us. I'm talking Samurai Jack, Dexter's Lab, and of course, the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. Why is this important? Well, 2 words. Well, 1 hyphenated word. Hanna-Barbera. Yeah. Much of the crew from My Little Pony has a history with the studio. You want to talk with cartooning giants? Hanna-Barbera was the biggest. Well, except for Disney and Warner Brothers. And for a while, MGM. Look, the point is everyone has seen or at least knows of at least one Hanna-Barbera show. Their cartoons are ingrained in our society. Shows like The Flintstones, The Jetsons, Yogi Bear, Scooby-Doo, The Smurfs, Hong Kong Phooey, and yes, Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, and the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. Damn it. Hanna-Barbera Studios was around from 1957 to 2001, and in that time, they did a lot. But what they did that is most relevant to this lecture right now is probably the most used, most recognizable, but generally under-recognized things in media. That is the Hanna-Barbera sound effect library. You may be familiar with some of these sounds. Yeah. All these sounds are pulled directly from the Hanna-Barbera sound effect library. And if you grew up watching cartoons on Saturday mornings, without a doubt, you've heard of pretty much all of them, if not variants of them. And why not? Generations of cartoonists grew up watching Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And since the 1960s, other studios began using their sound effects too. Nickelodeon used them, Disney used them, Warner Brothers used them, MGM used them. They all used Hanna-Barbera sound effects because they were the best. No wonder we know these sounds so well. These days, though, most studios use digitally recorded variants of those classic sound effects. So why don't we break apart this scene and see what we can find?
Why are you hanging out in a ditch?
Because Pinkie Pie predicted it!
Honestly, Spike, she did not. 2 coincidences in a row like this may be unlikely, but it's still easier to believe than twitchy tales that predict the future.
Twitchy tail. Pinky sense.
That's a good scene. And it's good not just because it's funny, but because there are a lot of sound effects in that scene. So this scene had variations of 3 primary sound effects. There are a lot of sound effects in there, much more than 3. But the 3 I want to focus on are sound effects that are shown throughout the show. So what we have are the slide whistle, the wobble saw, apparently. The slide whistle, there we go, and stretching rubber. We hear the wobble saw when Twilight wiggles her tail and when AJ rears up. We hear the stretch of rubber when AJ pulls down her hat. And we hear the slide whistle when Twilight pops up, and we hear the wobble saw when Twilight wiggles her tail. So lost. These sounds are heard all throughout the series, and once you start listening for them, you'll be surprised how often they come up. In fact, you'll probably hear these more than a few times in the rest of the clips I'll be showing in this show. So now that I told you we'd get into diegesis, and here we are. I have to explain it now because I really can't go any further unless I do. It's that important. So I want you all to engage your imaginations with me and pretend that all of this, you sitting here, me talking to you, this convention is part of a movie, okay? In reality, it kind of is because I am kind of recording this. But not a documentary, not an account of a real-life event, a work of fiction. The words coming out of my mouth, the sounds coming from the speaker system are all what's called diegetic. They exist within the context of this fictional world. However,
If I start giving an inspirational speech, and really dramatic music begins playing in the background of the movie, only to be heard by the viewing audience, that music is non-diegetic. It exists outside the world of the movie. It serves not to directly impact the narrative, but to enhance it by using the dramatic overtones of the music to heighten the drama of the narrative.
thank you. I am actually really thirsty right now. Yeah, all right. Yeah, water right. A Sprite, baby. Caffeine! I am geek. So you might ask, why is diegesis so important? Why now? Well, it's because sometimes sound effects can dip into the non-diegetic, particularly when the show is trying to communicate a character's internal emotional state. For example, let's take a look at this scene from season 1. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Thank you all so much for coming. It means so much to Gummy.
Could I have some more punch?
Well, of course you can have some more punch, Mr. Turnip.
This is one great party! You really outdone yourself!
Why, thank you, Rocky.
I'm having a delightful time as well.
I'm so glad, Sir Lancelot. My dad's got my slice of cake.
anything for you, Madame LaFlower.
I'm just glad none of them ponies showed up.
Oh, they're not so bad.
That is the scene I use to get people who don't like the show into watching the show. Because it's like, My Little Pony, how can it be so dark? I'm like, it gets worse. So now, as funny as that scene is, that is a very complex and emotionally charged scene with action taking place more so internally than externally. But how do they express this sort of internal action other than, just derping her eyes? Right. All right. We have a timetable, people. Well, a fiddle draw is used to indicate Pinky's transition from sane to insane during her psychotic break. That's one of the more prominent effects in the scene. In that same scene, we hear sounds of strings snapping and springs uncoiling, which you may just interpret as the same thing unless you've spent 5 to 10 years listening to effect after effect. You want to go in crazy moment? All right. The springs uncoiling that correspond to her very concerning twitches, letting us know that bit by bit, her psyche is coming undone. Here we go. On a somewhat lighter note, the audience is treated to a sound of a heavenly chorus when Rarity discovers a massive cache of rare gems embedded inside of a large rock in this scene.
I followed you all the way out here for a rock? Dumb rock!
Of course, Of course, non-diegetic sound effects can be used for comedic effect as well. When Twilight adjusts her fake beard after getting the Royal Canterlot voice from Luna, it makes a creaking sound. In the same episode, be still, my breaking heart. Yeah. Silence! I kill you. I kill you, random citizen. In that same episode, we get 5 non-diegetic sound effects used in a relatively quick succession during Luna's voice lessons.
How is this?
Perfect, lesson over.
A little quieter, princess.
How is this?
Better, right, Fluttershy? Yes.
So, what we heard in that scene was a few, actually, 5 major effects. We had the zip effect as Fluttershy ran away, a bell when she slammed into the door, a cartoony suction cup and cuckoo birds when she peeled herself off of the door, and some squeaking sounds while she slid down the wooden surface. So it's these combinations of sound effect that really bring out the cartoony nature, because otherwise there wouldn't be sound effects and then it would just be sad in real life. Because whose life wouldn't be better with sound effects? It's okay, it's not a woo game, it's fine. All right, so here we go. And of course, in episode 17 of season 1, we hear the sound of a squeaky toy. Let that one sink in for a minute. Oh no, I'm sorry. Pause for dramatic effect. After Fluttershy brags about being the world champ at shh, or his parents around the world tell their kids the quiet game. I know I tell my 6-year-old brother that.
game. A game? It's called Shh.
What's that?
Well, it's a game about who can be quiet the longest. Sound fun? I'm the world champ, you know. I bet you can't beat me.
Although, I'm allergic to adorableness! No! Although, considering how downright adorable she is, that sound might just be diegetic. So, Friendship is Magic utilizes a whole host of... Oh, God, this hair. His hair. Friendship is Magic utilizes a whole host of diegetic and non-diegetic effects to enhance the quality of the show through sound. An important aspect of that is the upkeep of fidelity. Now, fidelity is how well a sound we hear matches up to the expectation of the sound. If we see a cat in the movie, it would be pretty low fidelity if we heard it bark. But sometimes messing with fidelity can be done for laughs. Oh yeah, unless you're discorded. But here we go. Who can forget this line?
I don't want to talk about it.
Or this scene.
Rainbow Dash, what in the world is going on? Why are you stealing slippers? Hey, get back to the hospital.
Altering with fidelity is one of my favorite ways of messing with an audience. I do it in just about everything I do at least once. Every reoccurring project. But anyways, low fidelity but high comedy. So, of course, a high level of fidelity is what's expected, and most of the time, it's what's delivered. One way they can do this is by using audio effects to actualize the fidelity of the dialogue based on the camera's point of view. Now, I say audio effects, what I mean specifically is post-production effects, reverb, echo, modulation, that sort of deal. And you'll hear examples of those as we go along. So, they have to do this they have to do this because sound does not exist intrinsically. That is to say, it's not inherent to animation as it is in film, nor does it behave in the same way. In film, you can capture the ambient background noise and effects the environment has on audio. You can capture the sound of people in cafes, although professionally they don't. You can capture the sound, the alterations on your voice in a vast expanse or enclosed space has. But they have to do this on the sound and dialogue since animated worlds aren't real. These effects must be recreated. For example, take the scene from Season 1, Episode 2.
Sign me up! Just let me tie this bridge real quick, and then we have a deal.
No! It's them or us.
Rainbow! What's taking so long?
Oh no.
So Rainbow Dash has flown across a gorge to tie the other end of the bridge so her friends can cross safely. Twilight Sparkle calls out to her over the expanse, saying, "Rainbow, what's taking so long?" Well, since there's no echoey gorge in the DHX Media Vancouver studio, reverb was added to the dialogue to bring to life the sense of distance and terrain between the source of the audio, Twilight, and the camera. Similarly, in Episode 4, Season 1, Pinkie Pie's voice was modulated. She was bounced up and down by the shaking ground caused by stampeding cattle. On her line, "This makes my voice sound silly."
Pinkie Pie, are you crazy?
Yes, she is. There are also ways distortion has been used to indicate a character's state of mind. Diegetically, this has been done by temporarily placing the point of view of the audience within a chosen character. For example, in this scene, we get a better understanding of how exhaustion is affecting Applejack's mental acuity when she's receiving instructions from Pinkie Pie.
Alrighty, I'll get the sugar and the eggs. Can you get me some chocolate chips?
What was that? Chocolate chips. Chips. Got it.
From our point of view, we hear Pinky very clearly asking Applejack for chocolate chips to put into a batch of muffin batter. However, when Applejack asked her to repeat herself, we shift into her point of view, where we hear and see something completely different. Pinky's voice is slowed down and hyper-distorted, cueing us into just how tired AJ really is. This is the kind of effect the manipulation of audio can have on a show's ability to communicate the ideas within a narrative. It's one thing to say Applejack is exhausted. It's something else entirely to show you through Applejack's unique perspective. Of course, as ever present in this show as it was in classic television, sound effects are also used as sound bridges for incoming scenes. Sound bridge is, well, a sound that acts as a bridge from one scene to another. It's just a bridge. Episode 23 of Season 1 gives us some very good examples of these. Let's have a listen.
We can hear how she earned her cutie mark.
Oh, that would be interesting. You know, I wouldn't have gotten my cutie mark if it weren't for her.
Rainbow Dash? Really?
Oh, yes. It all started at summer flight camp. You'd never guess, but when I was little...
As a young filly in Canterlot, I always wanted to go to the Summer Sun Celebration, where Princess Celestia raises the sun, and I saw the most amazing, most wonderful thing I've ever seen.
Flashbacks like those are very often transitioned into with sound bridges. In this example, Twilight's was brought in with a harp glissando, and Fluttershy's with a piano trill. This kind of reminds me of my time back at the Academy. Good times, good times. So obviously sound effects are a big part of the audio landscape of the show, but the music is just as important. One thing you will notice though is it's hardly ever purely diegetic. For the exception of when Pinky is involved, because let's face it, when Pinky is involved, diegesis goes straight out the window. The only vocalized, purely diegetic musical numbers are the Hush Now Lullaby, Heartswarming Eve Carol, and Love's in Bloom. But what about all the other songs? Certainly there are songs where the characters are singing and dancing, and since they are actually singing and dancing, it can't be non-diegetic. So what's the deal? Well, it turns out most of the vocalized songs in the series are actually ambidiegetic. What's ambidiegetic? Well, it basically means they exist both within and without the narrative of the show, both inside and out of it. And this is a time where we take our second trip back in time. See, for most of us, Hollywood is where we've had most of our experience with musicals. And it was from the 1930s to 1960s when musical cinema was really in its golden years. Now, you may remember from earlier that cartoons with synchronized sound first came about in the 1930s, but general cinema with sound, or talkies as they were called, first got its big push only a few years earlier. But why was musical cinema more popular then than it is now? Well, it's because it was a new medium. Before the advent of cinema, the primary form of visual live-action entertainment was going to the theater where you would see shows. Film was new, and studios really didn't know how to fully utilize this new technology. So for the longest time, they would just put a camera in the audience seating of a theater and film stage plays. But once they got more comfortable with cameras, that's when things really started to go up. We got stuff like An American in Paris, Singing in the Rain, and dozens of other great pieces of Hollywood history. That's the best fucking musical ever. Yeah. Now, before we go on, it's important to understand the qualities of musical music and what sets them uniquely apart from other music in the context of ambidiegesis. And I think Phineas and Ferb explain it quite well.
You know, Ferb, one of the best times we ever had was when we built that roller coaster. We should do it again, but this time as a musical. What do you say? We'll do all the same things, except we'll break into spontaneous singing and choreography with no discernible music source.
What assurance would we have that everyone else would also break into song and do the same thing?
I don't know. I think they probably will.
So what songs in MLP exemplify this? Well, a few in particular come to mind. From season 1, episode 26, the song At the Gala is an homage to Stephen Sondheim's Ever After.
And it came to pass, all that seemed wrong was now right. The kingdoms were filled with joy, and all those who deserved to were certain to live a long and happy life. Ever after. Ever after. Journey over, all is mended, and it's not just for today, but tomorrow and extended. Ever after. Ever after. All the curses have been ended, the reverse is wiped.
So we're kind of running a little low on time. I'm going to have to keep going. I know, but you can talk to me later. While the characters, both the main and the background, are obviously aware of their singing and dancing, there's no discernible music source in either the original nor that. So from classic cinema, this harkens back to numbers like 16 going on 17 from the musical Sound of Music, where they too seemed aware of their own musicality and choreography, but an invisible orchestra of ninjas lurked nearby for their accompaniment. Rarity's dressmaking song from season 1, unofficially named Art of the Dress, is another homage to a Sondheim musical number. In this case, it's putting it together from his Broadway musical Sunday in the Park with George. I cannot play this because we are really low on time. Don't worry, I will post this all. No, I said I can't play it. I'm trying to get to a point here, just bear with me, all right? All right. I'm gonna do it, but we're gonna have to really wrap it up. No, not winter wrap-up, I'm sorry. It doesn't want to play, I'm sorry, people. So non-diegetic, I know. So non-diegetic music also serves a key role in the show as mood music. Mood music serves to help indicate characters, scenes, emotional states, and even upcoming plot events. Whenever Applejack or the Sweet Apple Acres farm appears on screen, light banjos and guitars are heard to emphasize her countryness. Rarity's boutique garners light strings and orchestral pieces to raise an air of elegance and sophistication. And when Rainbow Dash performs her aerobatics, you'll be sure to hear heavy rock interludes accompanying her aerobatic stunts. Of course, whenever there's a chase scene, you'll very likely hear something and see something that looks like this.
It's for your own good, Philomena, I promise. Please, just relax and try to get some sleep.
What's this soup over here? Smells delicious.
I made it for Philomena, but she wouldn't eat it.
Oh, she'll eat it all right.
Wait for it.
Hey, where are you going? No, Philomena, come back!
It gets better. This particular little bit has the biggest homage to animation and comedy, so wait for it. So My Little Pony Friendship is Magic draws from cartoon sound history like Hanna-Barbera, as well as musical history from both Hollywood musicals and musicals of traditional theater to create a soundscape that is reflective of its history and of the industry. Now, this fandom being what it is, whatever it is, I'm sure many of you have heard or seen of some of those examples before, but for those of you that have discovered something new about this show, I urge you to go out there and watch some of those old cartoons and old musicals and then watch My Little Pony with a more aware pair of ears. If not to try and pick the scenes apart like I do, unfortunately, then to try to gain a better appreciation for the amount of work that goes into the show once the mics are put away and once the voice actors go home. Thank you. 15 more minutes. Hey guys! Hey guys! We have more time! Thank you so much. Is this root beer flavored? Yes. That is my favorite flavor. Woo! All right. All right, I'm going to open this right now because I fucking love root beer. I don't care. No. Point of fact. Shotgunning any beverage can cause serious damage to your vocal folds. Do not drink that kind of stuff before singing. In fact, me drinking Sprite was a bad idea. Yes, very good. Drink room temperature water before any live performance. Do as I say, not as I do. So you guys will get a chance to see the wonderful remix I have put together here. Here we go.
Thread by thread, stitching it together. Twilight stress, cutting out the pattern snip by snip, making sure the fabric falls nicely. It's the perfect color and
Doctor Who fans will get
always
a nice
gotta
kick
keep
out of this.
in mind pacing, making sure the clothes correctly facing. I'm stitching twilight stress.
Note by note, working on projection. Lips, teeth, throat, looking for a moment to inhale. Keeping the emotional connection, even when your fellow actors fail.
Pointing up the subtext by inflection.
Helping your director reach perfection.
Even though you have a strong objection to the way he's handling the direction. Art isn't easy.
Yeah, Captain Jack Harkness. Captain Jack always wins the Woo game. David Tennant is so jealous. At least he should be. All right, let's go back over. So, question time. So, all right. Here's how we're going to do this. Oh, wait, you're gonna? Very good idea. That is fantastic. Thank you. I will use that mic. Yeah, I will use this mic. This is my favorite mic. Let me get my windsock for it out, because actually, not kidding you guys, this is my favorite freaking mic ever. See, I have it right here. It's my mic. Actually, you know what?
Line here. Line up here.
If you could be so kind as to line up, that would be very much appreciated. Now I have my windsock, so you do not hear plosives. All right, Schwartzwald, what's up?
Thank you. Very few people get that. For some
I was
reason.
Schwartzwald last year.
Ah, very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Yes. So, what is your personal favorite sound effect out of them all that you've used in MLP?
Oh,
The answer better be the squeaky
flap.
toy.
I have to remember. I have to remember the name precisely because this does matter. Linen bedsheet on a line, moderate breeze. That is my favorite sound effect because you can use that sound effect from anything. From a sound of a person getting up, to a person rolling around in bed, to the flapping of wings. It is such a versatile sound effect. It's one of my favorites. All right.
I noticed that you do a lot of blogs and things like that, and I also noticed this camera here. Where can we find this online?
That is a very good question. I'm going to be... Okay, well, you can... if you scan this lovely QR code, and maybe I'll just open up Notepad here.
We can't scan it.
Okay, then I will open up Notepad and drag it over to this screen, if I can. You know what? I'll keep it over here. I'll type, and you'll be able to get my contact information that way. So, Yeah, do not take, here we go. Here we go. Lucida Console. Love Lucida Console. I'll type this up in a little bit. What's the next question? Because I may have to think on that next question.
Hi.
Hi.
I had a question about in the production.
Can you talk a little bit closer to the mic?
In the production process, where do you actually start recording audio, and when you sync it, do you usually have the video first and sync the audio to that, or the other way?
That is ADR. I'm not an ADR guy. That is the process of synchronizing sound to animation is not my forte. I'm not an animator, nor do I work in an animation studio. I'm an audio engineer. I do audio books. I do podcasts. I don't do animation. This is just something I'm very interested in. So, but if you want to talk about how the process of synchronizing sound, you can probably find, go to the dealer's room and find Bang Zoom's booth, or what's the other, is there another voice acting company that's here? It's usually Bang Zoom.
It's Bang Zoom.
It's Bang Zoom. Go find Bang Zoom's booth, talk to them. They are the people to talk to about this.
For all the amazing and hard work you do, can I give you a hug?
Yes.
Real hard.
Men are restricted to man hugs. Women are restricted to any hug they want. What's up, man?
Kind of curious to know, would you happen to know how exactly Hanna-Barbera managed to actually, produce their
Can you
original
up
sound
his
effects?
mic a little bit? Can you boost his gain a bit on that mic?
Sorry.
That's cool.
Sorry. Would you know how actually Hanna-Barbera produced those original sound effects?
And if you look up the word Foley, look it up on Wikipedia. That basically tells the entire story. But let me give you a tiny little tidbit on how they do it. If you want to make a sound of an if you want to make a sound of someone hitting a person, take a leather couch cushion, and put some newspaper, I think, on it, and hit it really hard. And that's the sound. That is, I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, the way you make a sound of hitting a person. But the entire process is called Foley, and it's a very fascinating article to read. So it's a bit long to get into for a Q&A, though. I'm sorry.
Hi.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Do you have any favorite software or programs that you use, or VSTs?
Yes. I don't use a lot of VSTs, mostly because a lot of VSTs are made for music production, not necessarily just straight voice work like I do. But my favorite audio editing software is Adobe Audition 3. Not CS 5.5, not CS 6, but 3. Probably because I'm more familiar with the interface, but it's just my personal preference.
So, could you sing for us?
Can I speak for you? I have been speaking. Sing?
Yep.
Depends. What?
Anything off of your repertoire.
Anything out of my rep? I will do that. No, I can't sing. I can't sing Zankoku no Tenshi no Teise. I cannot sing that. I know the words, but I will not sing that because singing kind of sounds weird when you don't have a mic and it looks like really crap karaoke. When you don't have background music, I mean. So I'll think about it. But for now, next question.
How much time does it take per episode to put it all together and to finish it?
I don't know. Again, animation is not my specialty. I don't work on the My Little Pony staff.
I meant like just the sound effects. The
sound effects? Well, I know that in general it takes. I know for South Park, which uses not as much sound effects, but comparable amount. Takes about 2 weeks for them to roll an episode, but they're like really booking it. Music and everything, I have no idea. Ask Lauren Faust on DeviantArt. I don't know.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a few questions. First of all,
First of all, I want to thank you for coming out here and.
Can you speak up just a bit?
Okay, I want to thank you for coming out here and spending your time with us, and I'm grateful for that. And I have a little brother that's a huge fan of the show as well.
Great.
And he watches old, I make him watch Scooby-Doo and Yogi Bear and whatnot, and he recognizes those sounds. So I
Okay.
think that's really interesting, and I want to thank you for that. And I also want to give you a hug.
Okay. If you wait until the Q&A is done, I will gladly give you a hug. But I'd like to answer as many questions as I can before I get the hook. Last question.
Hello.
Okay. Hello.
I'm willing to know that since you were familiar with Pinkie Pie Going Crazy in season 1, episode 25, I was wondering if you were familiar with Twilight Going Insane in season 2, episode 3.
Oh, that is a good scene. That is a good scene. Yeah. I'm familiar with that scene. What about it?
Oh, it's just because that also has a huge fan response too.
Yeah, no, that is an amazing scene, and it really does. I think that scene appeals more to the adult demographic of the show than to the child demographic, but it is a fantastic scene, both animation-wise in terms of how they do the facial expressions and how they execute the sound effects. But yeah, thank you all for coming out tonight. You are amazing. And I'll be coming out in about a minute or so. Just got to pack this stuff up if you got any more questions. And no time, unfortunately. But have a great convention.
For everyone else, we are clearing the room. Please make your way to the exits. We are clearing the room.
The extra time.
Oh, no, I figured the panel I'm doing, they give me way too big a room for what I'm doing. And I figured, I was like, dude, we got a lot of bonus here. You got a full crowd. Let's give you guys some extra time.
Thanks, I really appreciate it. Why don't you come up here? Come on.
Go up there.
Come on. K-H-A-Z-E. Yeah, that's my username. I was going to put up the Frost Syndicate, but that website isn't finished yet, so...
Are you okay, Twilight Sparkle?
Those aren't mine. Those belong to one of the
stand to see
staffers.
the pond
Give
getting
me
so
a hug.
overpopulated. What with the frogs all hopping into each other and all.
sure.
So I decided to fly as many as I can on over the froggy bottom bog. Of course you did.
Bye-bye. Was it boring? Little?
Such a cool guy.
Twilight? You got a little something on your face there.
why do you wanna touch
really? Did your pinky sense tell you that too?